Wait, so I gotta look into green. Somebody's so tired.
How was it?
What?
That was how you were gonna do.
No. The music is so
Sleeping. Good morning, Joshua and Chris. Look how sleepy Hank is. He had such a busy day yesterday. Running around the house. Very tired, Mug.
Come here, very tired dog.
Good morning, Lucy and Molly. Good morning, Ben and Ellie. Good morning, Camden. Good morning, Rowan, Caroline, and Sam. Good morning, Merritt and Reagan. So yesterday we spent a lot of time outside. Good morning, Mia. Good morning, Wesley. Good morning, Ella. And hi Blake, when we are outside, the dogs hang out on the porch so they can see us, but they get very anxious that we're outside and they get worried. So they just pretty much run around the porch for hours. So good morning, Eliza and Alexis. Hank is exhausted today. I turned off my music. So he is just wiped out, can barely move. No, don't tease him with a chocolate cookie. You can't eat that. Good morning, Nolan. Good morning, Manny. Good morning, London. He's not even moving. Good morning, Alexis and Darren. An iguana. I didn't put iguana because we did an iguana in the zoo, but I believe I wrote down in my notes like a lizard of some kind. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Allison. Doobie's being teased with the pretzel. Just give it to him, please. Good morning, Colin or Lizzie. He likes a pretzel.
No, I need to get it.
Yes, a bunny is on the list.
11 o'clock.
No bunny today. I have filled some requests, though. Good morning, Maddie. Good morning, Hannah. Good morning, Colin. Bunny is on the list, not today. Oh, bearded dragon, that's a good idea. I put lizard, but I was just sort of going to do more research on one that would be fun to draw. But it'll be some sort of reptile, I'll say that. But the ones we're doing today were all requested. I'll give it one more minute. Usually Hank is so wiggly and ready to get down at this point, but he's like so sleepy. Good morning, Nicholas and Sonia. Good morning, Brooks. Good morning, Lila. It's a potential for the future is a rainforest. A parrot is on the list, not for today. but it is on my pet shop list. I have about, what we're going to create today first is the sort of the background or the setting for the pet shop. And I have space for 16 animals. And then, so right now I have about only 8 animals written down. So I will need some ideas. Sam, I need you to stop. Too loud. They're playing games over there. All right, I'm gonna put Hanky down. Hank's gonna say bye. Good morning, Helena. Oh. Whew, covered in hair now. So like I said, we're gonna start with our setup of our pet shop. And I wasn't sure, I really did a lot of thinking about the best way to set it up without making it look sad, because pet shops can be a little sad. They're all in their tiny cages and it's not very homey looking. So I decided to do a pet shop as you were looking at it from the street, sort of like they were in the window. So they kind of getting some nice sunlight and looking at other people on the street. I thought that was a little bit more fun and inviting. That's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to show you, I know I usually don't show you mine until the end, but I am going to show you what I've done so far so you can get an idea, and then we're going to set it up together. And then you kind of put that to the side, and then we'll do our 3 animals for today. So this is also going to give you an inside scoop of what the animals are, but that's okay. First day. Okay, so I named mine Hank's Pet Shop. You can see at the top, I have sort of like an awning with the word pet shop on it. And for all of my friends in who have had me for 3rd grade, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at Lisbon, I'm not sure if I did this. I may have done this at Ilchester now that I think about it. But anyway, I'm sorry, not 3rd grade, 2nd grade. Now I'm getting all confused, but it's the cities, the reflection cities. I actually can't remember the second which grade it was, but we talked about when you create your city and you create your title for your city or your title for your shop, and then you have some sort of art to represent what the shop is. So it doesn't just say pizza shop, it says pizza shop with a slice of pizza or some dough or something, making it look, you can tell what the shop is. So when I created my pet shop, I created little paw prints that show what it is. So that's the top awning that we're going to create. And then this is the whole thing. So you can see I've made 16 little window boxes. And I drew them in very lightly in case I wanted to change some of the sizes, because some animals are going to be bigger than others. I also didn't color in any backgrounds. You can see this one, I didn't color in a background because I might want to add some stuff in there. I want to give him some toys or treats or something. I just haven't decided yet. And then you can see I created a door. And another thing I talk about when we do the cities is that you do fun little things for each shop. For example, these door handles are bones, like dog bones. So that's just a fun little thing to add there. And I created the awning. I love to do awnings over doors. And I put 2 little flower pots by the door and a welcome sign and a we are open sign. So all of that I'll color in more. I just wanted to get it a little bit started, and then we'll add details as we start finishing it up and add more color. But this is what we're going to create first, and I wanted to show you, so we're sort of going into it blindly, see what the end result is going to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. And again, if you want to do this as a practice first, so you can get an idea, then later you can draw it on your final piece of paper. You're going to start by, we're going to create that awning first. And all it is a straight line that goes across and then 2 angled lines. So it's the beginning of a parallelogram. And then we're going to add like the little scoops that are the bottom of the awning. And it doesn't really matter how many you have. And that creates your awning. Now I'm going to add the stripes in, but before you add stripes with any sort of permanence, you can add them in with pencil, but if you wanted to add your title of your shop first, you can do that so that you are not drawing lines or you're not drawing over lines. So I just did Hanks, and then I'm not going to do all the bubble letters now, I'm just going to write it out. And you can decide this part later. But just like with anything that has a headline, now this is sort of a graphic design lesson, you want to make sure the main thing you're trying to get across is the biggest part. So we want everybody to know that this is a pet shop. The fact that it's Hank's pet shop isn't as important, so that's why Hank's name is sort of smaller. But we want people to see from across the street that this is a pet shop. And then to add the lines, I just started in the middle and connected a line down the middle like this. And then as they go out to the side, they get a little bit more angled. And then of course on the other side, they'd angle the opposite way. And then it gets that angled look to it. Sorry. And then all you're going to do is bring 2 straight lines down from your the bottom part of your awning straight down. And these are the sides of your building. Pull this up a little bit. And then you want to go ahead and create the door first, because that's going to give you a space, the way to space everything out. And you can do a rectangle door like I did. You can do a rounded door. You can do a single door. And you don't have to do the awning on top. I kind of like the awning, but you can do whatever you want. Oops. My bone door handles. You can also put a dress plate if you wanted to, or mailbox, flowers. You can do little benches outside, whatever you want to do to make it your own. And then you're going to make all of your windows. Now, like I said, we're going to be doing a total of 16 animals. If you don't have room for 16, you can always maybe put an animal outside, like maybe somebody just adopted their pet. You could also, maybe when you draw the parrot or one of the birds, you could draw it outside like it got away, totally up to you. But all I did to create spaces is I just made horizontal lines. So I made four spaces that way. And if you know math, you create 4 spaces going across. It's 4 times 4 is 16. And that's how I did it. But again, this is, if you just kind of set this up for a practice, once you get things going, you can sort of lay it out as you want to. But this is just the way I did it. Oh, a doggy door, that's a great idea. All right. So if you need any more help with that, you can always rewatch the video for setting it up, or if you want to do the setup part later, as we get more into it in the week, that's fine too. If you want to set it up totally different, if you're picturing something different in your mind, then that's fine. If you want to do an inside, whatever you'd like to do. This is just how I pictured it for when I was creating it in my head. Okay, so we're going to do 3 animals today. The first one was a request, but it's also sort of a repeat, so I did a little different. And of course, you saw on my vinyl, and that's the kitten. And the reason I did a kitten is because that's one of the most popular things at a pet shop is adopting a kitten. And of course, we did a cat on our farm. So I'm going to talk more today about a kitten itself, as how it's different than a grown cat. But it is the domestic kitten that we're talking about. And the kitten is dependent on its mother for survival. And in fact, the first 7 to 10 days that a kitten is born, they can't even open their eyes. So they definitely need help from mom to guide them of how to eat and all of that, and where to sleep and comfort and all of that. And when they're about 2 weeks old, they start exploring. So they start exploring their area, whether that's if they're born at somebody's house, or I don't know if they, or like a breeder or at pet shops or a farm. They start exploring their area, sort of get to know it. At 3 to 4 weeks old, they start eating solid food, like a cat food that might be provided, because they start growing their adult teeth. So they can actually start eating those crunchy bits of food. And at 12 weeks old, your cat, or a kitten can be adopted. So they're able to leave their mom and they can survive on their own, provided with a family, and provided they're getting plenty of food and water. So we're going to draw the kitten. I'm drawing it a little bit different, a little bit more playful and cartoony than our cat that we did, but I thought it was really cute, a cute way to do it. So we're going to start. We're going to start with drawing the oval for his head, and then an oval that goes attached to it for its body. And I don't know if you saw in my drawing, but the cat was actually holding a ball of yarn, because kittens are very playful. So we're going to give him a little ball of yarn to be playing with. So we're going to just give him 2 little arms that are going to be holding that ball of yarn. And then it's sort of like he's sitting back on his tushy. So we're going to put his feet up in the air. And those are just going to be 2 ovals. And then you probably want to erase these lines. You know what? I did not write that down. That's a great question. At what age is a kitten into a grown-up? So what are they considered a cat? I'm not sure. I would say that they're a full-blown cat around 1. That's what I would say, but I did not do that research, so don't quote me on it, but that's what I would approximate. Okay, now we're going to add to the feet by adding little foot pads and a heel pad, which are just little ovals and a circle. And it's a little hard to see because I have that line there that I put the X's in. You can see. You want to do that? And then we're going to add his ears.
So the PlayStation's out here, so we can't do the disc. No. Oh no. Oh, I know we can get so you want that. Oh. And
we're going to add his little face. And his face is kind of like almost like he's giggling. I don't know that a kitten can giggle, but why not? So we're just going to add his eyes, his little nose, and his mouth starts as a U. So I'm going to get that going first, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do to that. All you're going to add to that U is a little W, and it connects to the sides of the U. So let me show you what I mean. Then we're going to give him a little line in the mouth that's going to be his tongue. We're going to give him 2 little rosy cheek dots. You can also fatten up these eye lines a little bit too. And then we're going to add a tail. The tail is going to look like it's coming from behind. And then the last thing you're going to add is the ball of yarn. Now you want to make it look like he's holding it. So you're going to see it's going to be a circle with a little string coming out here. And I'm going to show you how to make it look like yarn. So if anybody's ever seen a ball of yarn, I know, Colin, you have. So you're going to make a few lines going one direction and then a few lines going perpendicular to look like it's sort of wrapped. I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I added a few lines here, it's like the yarn is wrapped around one direction. And then you're going to make some, I might make one more like that. And then make some lines going this direction. And then up here as well. Then it looks like it's yarn wrapped up. And you might want to make this line like that. And that is your cat. And then when it comes time to, or sorry, your kitten, to coloring and adding designs, you can add different things like stripes or dots. I added some little triangle stripes, almost like we did for our tiger. I added some on his tail. Okay. So that is our cat, or our kitten, sorry, our kitten. All right. Our next animal came by request as well. If Adriana is watching, I believe this was your request because you have a few of them. And it is the guinea pig. And a guinea pig is actually a rodent, sort of like a mouse or a hamster. But it's not from Guinea and it's not related to the pig. And the origin of the name was unclear. That's what it said in the research. So we don't really know why they're called guinea pigs. But they originated in the Andes of South America and became domesticated in the United States. And when they first were domesticated in other countries, they were domesticated as livestock. So they were considered a source of food. I know that here we would never consider eating a guinea pig, but in other countries they do. And when they are domesticated as pets, they like to be in groups of 2 or more. There were some stipulations on that, sometimes not 2 males together. I didn't write all of that too. I'm sorry, Eliza and Alexis, if that was you. I'm sorry, I just remembered Adriana that she said she had a bunch. So I'm glad I'm fulfilling your request. And they do live in cages, but they can be sort of attached together, one big cage or separate. Sometimes they could be together during the day and then separated at night. And bedding is typically red cedar or pine, or sometimes sort of like that sawdusty mix. I know that we had a hamster, which we're going to be getting to later in the week, but that's what he had, sort of like a sawdust mix that he lived on. And guinea pigs tend to be very messy. So people that have one, you can clarify if that's true or not. But they tend to be messy and they knock over their food and they sometimes go to the bathroom in their food and they're yucky. And so you need to be really on top of taking care of them and cleaning out their cages often and making sure that they have fresh food to eat and not soiled food. And they do eat food pellets, so they're given a little pellets of food, and their base is usually hay. So it's a hay-based food that they eat. All right, so we're going to draw our guinea pig. And I was looking at several ideas of how to draw the guinea pig, and I chose this one, this style of drawing, because it's more simple. I thought it'd be an easier way to put in our pet shop, and because of the way we're going to draw it, it's smaller, and it'd be good for one of those smaller windows. Poops a lot, yes. I remember that from our hamster, that it seemed like it was almost nonstop going to the bathroom. Okay, so we're going to start by making very rounded, well, sort of like an oval with a flat bottom or a rounded triangle. You kind of start with a rainbow that sort of gets flat on the bottom. I guess maybe this could be called a gumdrop shape. So we're making a gumdrop. Gyros, I need to know which one of you keeps typing Frank. So you may add another pug later week. All right, so we have our gumdrop shape. Now we're going to add the mouth area, and they have sort of chubby cheeks, sort of like a squirrel might have. So I'm really sure how to describe this shape. So I'm just gonna, oh, Gabby, good job, Gabs. I'm just gonna draw it, and then you can kind of see what it is. It's sort of like you're drawing a circle, then has a bump, and then makes another part of a circle and then stops. Maybe a crazy mustache, partial cloud, I'm not really sure. Okay, thank you for clarifying that pine is bad. Maybe I read that wrong. Maybe it said not to give them pine. Maybe that's why they said use red cedar and not pine. So thank you for clarifying. Now we're going to add a little, like sort of like a really tall rainbow above that area. Oh, they're nocturnal too. That's good information. I kind of remember that from our hamster. I think they're very similar. And our hamster, well, we had two, and I'll tell you more when we do the hamster. But John would play on his hamster wheel all night long. And he was sleeping in Brooks' room, and we had to move him because he was so loud. All right, so now we're going to add some little eyes. And they have little black sort of beady eyes. I made one eye bigger than the other. That's okay. And then we're going to add a little nose. And a little mouth. And then we're going to add ears. And ears are not quite on the side, but not quite on the top of the head either. And you want to erase those lines. And we're going to add some little bits of hair around their ears, some little fur. I'm going to put some on the inside And on the outside, and you can add this just by adding like texture, color texture there. And then we're gonna add some little eyebrows too. And some whiskers. And then we're gonna add their little feet. And they are gonna come right here. So the way this is drawn, it's like the guinea pig, you're just seeing the front of him, and the back of him is behind him. You wanna erase these lines, and then give him a little bit of belly. We're sort of looking right at you. And just like with anything we've done, if you want to make it true to life, guinea pigs are a variety of neutral colors. There's white and black and black and sort of like a reddish brown and a brown, tan, cream colored, all kinds of that neutral to light, warm colors. But if you want a purple guinea pig or a blue one, hold on, I have to sneeze, excuse me. Maybe it's going away. I think I made it go away. You can make whatever kind of guinea pig you'd like. Mine I made sort of like a brown tan, but then I gave him pink little feet and a pink nose. And then I also, in his little area, added a bowl of food and one of those water dispensers that kind of hang off the side. I'm realizing like I did not give my other animals that I've done so far any food, so that's why I left the background blank so I can add something. So I can add maybe a bowl of food for my kitty or something like that. Maybe some treats, some catnip. Okay. And our last one, which was also a request. Make a little note. Okay. And this came by request, and that was to draw, since we drew Hank on our farm, to draw Ziggy in our pet shop. Because we did not get Ziggy from a pet shop, but we got him from a rescue from Barks. So he would have been sort of displayed in a way for people to see him and get to know him a little bit. So we're going to make a Ziggy. And Ziggy, although we don't 100% know what he is, because we did get him from a shelter, so there's the only way to know DNA test, which we're not going to do. But we assume he's mostly pit bull, maybe with a mix of American Bulldog. He sort of has the head shape for American Bulldog. But pit bulls themselves are a range of breeds, from the American Bulldog to a Bull Terrier, to all kinds of bull mixes. Let's see if you can see him. He's sitting right here now. Ziggy, come here, back up. And one of the things you'll hear there, they both are. One of the things that's a trait of a pit bull is they are very strong. You just saw me trying to move his head, and even his neck muscles are so strong that it was hard for me to pull his head back. So they're originally, pit bulls, the name pit bull, that type of dog was bred as a fighting dog, centuries ago. But they are one of the more gentle breeds of dogs. They just get a bad reputation out there because they are very strong and because they can have a mean look to them. But they're one of the sweetest breeds and gentlest breeds of dogs. And Ziggy is actually a very sweet dog. He thinks he's about Hank's size. He thinks he's the littlest dog in the house, and actually he sleeps a lot of the day in Hank's bed. So we have a big bed for Ziggy, which is sort of like a large rectangle mat. Then we have a small sort of square that has sides for Hank, and Ziggy sleeps most of the day in that bed. So he thinks he's a teeny tiny dog. He always wants to snuggle, and he gets very worried about the kids. So he's very, very much a family dog. And pit bulls in general get a bad reputation. So Ziggy is very kind. All right, so we're gonna draw Ziggy. And I don't know if you just saw, but Ziggy has a dark patch around his eye. He also has some other, he's mostly white, but he has some other dark patches on him. And one of them looks like a heart. So that's what I hear. If you saw my little reminder note this morning about drawing at 11, that was Ziggy, and it has the patch on his eye and that little heart patch on the side. All right. So we're going to start by drawing his nose, which is an oval. And I drew it at a little bit of an angle, sort of like he has his head tilted to the side just a little bit. All right, then we're going to add his nose area. We're going to start by adding a rainbow over the nose we drew. Then we're going to connect it with a smaller rainbow. And make a line here, and then make a little mouth part here. So we have a nose. Now the shape of the head is really what gives the pit bulls that look. So it sort of dips in the middle, and then has two bumps on either side, and then comes back in and bumps out again. It's a head shape that's important for a pit bull. Yes, Ziggy is our dog. So I just never pick him up and show you because he's big, so I cannot pick him up and put him on my lap like I can with Hank. Ziggy is, I believe, 6 or 7 years old. Maybe he's 7 and we've had him for 6 years. And Hank is about 1.5 years. And we got him a year ago in October. So Hank will be 2 in August, I believe. And then we're going to add, from this bump here, we're going to add these lines that look like this. That's not his full ear, it's just the top part of his ear. And then we're going to add the under part of the ear like that. I don't know if I quite did this right. That's right. I think this should have come down a little bit more like this. All right, now we're going to add his eyes. We're just going to make them come up from the nose area. And then we're going to add a neck that comes down. And then a collar. We're going to do a basic body shape. It's going to come out. All right, now we're going to add the legs. We're going to start with the front legs. First, you're going to add a chest line and 2 sides like this. And 2 lines down. And then to add the feet, we're going to add 1 large bump and then 2 side bumps that come back.
Guess what? Jack and Sam got 10 and 11 on the bike. No.
And then erase those lines. And then we're going to add the back leg that comes off like this on either side. And that same big toe, little toe. And then we're going to add the tail. I just had his tail come up from the back here. And of course, when I was drawing Ziggy, he has a black part on his tail. He has that patch around his eye and that sort of heart shape on the side of him. And I would also color the nose a little. So that is our pit bull. Then I'm going to, as I usually do, show you again my final. Like I said, I added that. I'll never get this. That water dispenser and food bowl for my for my guinea pig. Probably give Ziggy something a little extra in there. My cat maybe some, or my kitten some food. And then at the very end, one of the last things I'm going to do is fill in the background color so I can sort of be aware of what colors I'm adding to make that sort of some color balance in my page. So it's not too warm color heavy on one side and cool on the other, just sort of balance it out. Okay, so there's my pet shop. I hope yours is coming along nicely. Just like always, if you have any suggestions for the pet shop, let me know. And like I said, I have some open spaces. And then tomorrow, Hanky, come here. Tomorrow we'll be back at 11. Come here. Come on, Hank. Hank is even too tired to get up off the floor. He's just laying on the floor. Let me see if I can grab him. Nope. He ran away from me. Okay. Tomorrow is at 11. And we'll add our 3 next animals. I think I have them planned out. I don't know where my list is, but I have them planned. Ziggy! Come here. There's Ziggy. Oh my goodness, he is so heavy. Okay. Ziggy's here to say bye to you today. So have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Bye.